हरि ओम तत्सत्.
गुरुर् ब्रह्मा गुरुर्विष्णुः गुरुदेवो महेश्वरः गुरुः साक्षात् परं ब्रह्म तस्मै श्री गुरवे नमः. नित्याय निरवध्याय निर्मलज्ञानमूर्तये सच्चिदानन्दरूपाय शिवाय गुरवे नमः. मौनव्याख्या प्रकटितपरब्रह्मतत्त्वं युवानं वरिष्ठान्ते वसदृशिगणैः आवृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दमूर्तिं स्वात्मारामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे. ॐ नमः प्रणवार्थाय शुद्धज्ञानैकमूर्तये निर्मलाय प्रशान्ताय दक्षिणामूर्तये नमः. वन्देऽहं विघ्ननेतारं विघ्नानामेव शान्तये शमयन्ति हि परार्थाय स्वीयानपि हि सज्जनाः. This is a set of prayers which we usually recite in the beginning of all our discussions, whereas Dakshinamurti is the Jnana Avatara, the form of giving Upadesha, the form of Guru whose main purpose of the incarnation is to impart wisdom, knowledge. That is Dakshinamurti. And the last one is the prayer to Ganesha, composed by our Guru, His Holiness Shri Ghanapathi Suchidarada Swamiji, who happened to visit this place 13 years ago. In 2010 he has visited this place. The subject, as suggested by Professor Phani Tej Adidam, is what are the values that are applicable to daily routine of people like us. This prayer has an important message. There are several ranges of prayers which are offered to Ganesha. But this is a special prayer. What is the speciality? We are approaching Ghanapathi. Vandeham Vignanetaram. Vande means Vadi Abhivadana Stutyoho. Abhivadana means to seek a word of blessing. That is Abhivadana. Stuti is to praise. Seeking a word of blessing, I am approaching Ghanapathi. What is the specific purpose? Vighnanameva shantaye. Ghanapathi or Vignesha or Vighnadhipati, Vigneshwara, these are all synonyms. You all know what Vighna stands for. Vighna is a hurdle. So you are approaching Ghanapathi to ask him to withdraw the hurdles that are under his control. So you are asking to withdraw his own forces and you want him to oblige you. Shamayantihi pararthaya sviyanapihi sajjanaha. It is the gesture of the noble people to compromise with their own personal interests for the sake of others. In Sahitya Shastra, the Sanskrit literature, there is a decorative usage which is called as alankara. This is called as arthantaram nyasa alankara. You are supporting your general statement with a specific context, or you are making a specific context supported by a general statement. So each of them have to be supportive of each other. That is called the Arthantara Vyasa. You have a specific prayer and you are saying that there is nothing special about it. You are asking Ghanapathi to withdraw his forces of hurdles for the sake of my benefit. There is nothing special about it because it's the nature of noble people to compromise with own interests. Now the question that is popped up here is, what are these hurdles and what are the causes of it? We are living in the age of scientific evidence. If there is a cause, there has to be an effect. So whether this hurdle is the cause or an effect? In fact, this is both. The hurdle is the cause for our discomfiture and for our discomfort. But whereas this cause is the effect of something else. What is that something? That something is nothing but our sin. That something is nothing but our sin, which is causing these hurdles. In fact, Ganesha is the one who is keeping these effects of our sins under a leash, under his control. Whenever we pray to Ghanapathi, we are just asking him to keep the ill effects of our past misdeeds under leash so that we are spared from an event, from a calamity. That is so. Therefore, this prayer conveys the first thing. If you are approached properly by someone, just oblige them. Show your noble nature. That is the first message we all have. The next one, the initial prayer which is given by our local Pandit Acharya, who also hails from our own place, Mysore. Sahanavavatu, Sahanavavatu. Anyone from the Indian heritage and culture, they know this mantra. They have mostly memorized this and involuntarily they start chanting this. But I don't know how many people are aware of the context of this. Personally, I like my profession, being an academic and a teacher. And there are some teachers, including the organizer of this conference, they are teachers. And we have eminent doctors who are also teaching. This teaching profession has 2 or 3 peculiar traits. The student is called as a chhatra. Chhatra means an umbrella. Chhatra means one who covers. What is the covering? The inadequacies, the deficiencies of the teacher which are reflected, those should be covered. If the student is properly exhibiting his prowess, then he is covering the deficiencies in the lessons. Therefore, he is the chhatra. That means he covers everything around, all encompassing cover. So therefore, if someone is asking about the quality of a school, it would be not by checking the infrastructure, not by making an assessment about the apparatus that is available. The caliber of the students is the telling statement. Therefore, the chhatra is very important. In our philosophical arguments, we call something as anyonya sambandha or anyonya abhava. Anyonya abhava means interdependent absence or interdependent presence. If there is a disciple, if there is a pupil, there has to be a teacher. They are totally interdependent. If there is no student, there is no teacher. If there is no teacher, there is no student. Therefore, it is mutually dependent. Now comes the question. If this is mutually dependent, what would be the point of discomfort between the two? It is the human nature to be jealous of each one's achievements. If a student is excelling in every form, the teacher at some point of time, he might be envious of the achievements of the student. There are two types of people. One who encourage the student to surpass them. For that we have a wonderful saying, Sishya Dichyat Parajayam. You should seek the defeat in the hands of your own student. Putra Dichyat Parajayam. That is the magnanimity, magnanimous traits for which we should aspire for, a teacher should aspire for. But what is the process of acquiring this knowledge? Acharya Padam Adatte, Padam Sishya Swamedhaya, Padam Sabrahmacharibhya, Padam Kalakramenahi. There are 4 stages of acquiring knowledge. The first quarter is directly from the teacher, the preceptor who will pass on his own knowledge, whatever he has acquired. The second part is Padam Sishya Swamedhaya. By his own intellect, the student would have the capacity and audacity to interpret the way they want and to make a statement, to apply that in the right context. Padam Sabrahmacharibhya, there are fellow classmates who would enrich the experience of the student. Therefore, exceeding the part of the teacher, the student is adding his own value, his own understanding, and also enriching by the discussions and the cohabitation with classmates. Therefore, the experience gained by the student is double that of the knowledge acquired from his guru or the teacher. Therefore, what is likely to happen? When the quotient from the teacher is exceeded by the experience of the student, he is very generally, he is expected to be arrogant. Arrogance would be the first byproduct. Therefore, the first reaction would be, you would start to overlook the contribution given by the seed funding from your guru. Sahanavavatu. Therefore, we are praying to that supreme force which has given us the power of intellect, including the teacher and the student. Both of them have the quotient of intellect due to one supreme force. Let us not give it any names. You might call it this or that. In our philosophical thoughts, we give very least importance to the name. Any name is just one. Therefore, you are praying to that supreme force. Sahanavavatu. Avatu means let it protect. Here, most importantly, the karta is absent. Karta means the protector name is totally absent from this prayer. If you like this God or this name, this deity, you keep whatever name you want. We have absolutely no qualms about it. Sahanavavatu. Who is important? The protected are important. Who is the protected? The student and the teacher. Sahanavavatu. Sahanau bhunaktu. Bhuja palana abhyavaharayoho. Bhuja Palana Abhyavaharayoho. Everything that we speak of emanates from the fineness of linguistics. That is the reason we give utmost importance to grammar before we speak anything. Palana means to rule, to govern. Abhyavahara means to eat. Now we are asking that supreme force which is protecting us to govern us. to govern the usage of this intellect which it has bestowed upon us. If this intellect, if it is not governed properly, it is very likely to be misused for nefarious activities. That is the reason we have got several committees of ethics which are overseeing several technology companies, biotechnology companies, this, that, because we don't want any misuse. We have seen what has happened during the global pandemic. We knew there is some misuse. You are not able to prove it. But still we are suspicious of some nefarious activity which has happened. We come across several news items which say that there is a conspiracy which has started somewhere else. That's not our point of context. Our point is that if that supreme intellect which has bestowed us these points, these flashes of brilliance, if it is not governing us properly, then this intellect will be misused. Sahanavavatu. I said there is second meaning, that is consuming. Abhyavahara also means consumption. That supreme force, let it consume our intellect in the way it is befitting the manner for which it is induced, for which it is bestowed upon. Sahanavavatu. Once we are protected and our intellect is very well governed and it is consumed properly, Saha Viryam Karavavahai. One who is imparting the knowledge, one who is practicing it. Let both of us flourish. Viryam Karavavahai. Let us excel in our fields. You should appreciate the Sopana Krama. It's like a staircase. The first step, second step. The third one is Saha Viryam Karavavahai. Let us flourish, excel in our chosen field. Tejasvi now adhitam astu. Whatever we have studied, whatever we have practiced, let that be cherished. Let that be glorious. Tejasvi. Let that bring cheers to the population, to our citizens. Tejasvi now adhitam astu. The next one is naturally the fame. Who would qualify for the fame? In our universities, we have several systems. The teacher supervises the dissertation, the research, and his name is displayed prominently. And sorry to say, there are many professors who hardly contribute to the dissertation part. It is the hard toil of the student. We have seen, especially in our countries, we have seen it. They work very hard, even without pay, or very meager pay or little pay. But the credit goes to the supervisor. And he will claim everything. The patent will remain with the university. So then who is actually the claimant for the yashas, the fame? There again, there will be clashes. At first point, due to the arrogance and due to the process of intellectual gaining, there was a clash. And finally, at every stage, there is bound to be some sort of misunderstanding. But after the final fame is achieved, again there will be a clash. We have seen great battles and wars between Guru and Shishya. Our Puranas have multiple such instances. Ma vidvishavahai. Let us not clash for the sake of this fame. I remember one line of sentence from our Guruji. Just for the sake of this particular instance, I am mentioning this. We had been working on a project to bring out a search engine for Vedic verses and all the Shastras. An exclusive one which would also display the intonation marks, swara marks we call it, because the swara would actually alter the meaning of many Vedic words and sentences. To give an example, Andhaha, when I say this, Andhaha, it is Antodatta. Andha means everyone will say, what is that? Blind. Andhaha means, you don't have an idea. Andhaha means food. Drape andhasaspate. I'll give one more example, which we are very familiar with. You have heard the word antardrishti, antarmathana. Here, antaha, when I say this with this intonation, it means inside, internal. When I say antaha, anta means end. What is the name of this institution? Vedanta Centre. Vedantika or Vedanta. What is Vedanta? Vedasya antaha Vedanta. The end part. What is the end part known for? The end part is known for the thesis. You are collecting so much material, you are inferring something. First you start with a hypothesis, and with all the available evidence that you have gathered, you are adding your own intellect, and your conclusion is the thesis. That is the end part. So therefore the Vedanta stands as the theorem of the entire Veda. Vedanta, antaha, that means the end. So the intonations are very important in Veda. That's why they say, without swara, there is no jiva, there is no life in the Vedic sentence. That's what they say. So we had been working on this thing, and we had been quite successful to some extent as we anticipated. And at some point of time we were asked by the TTD, Tirumala Tirupati Devasthanam, because they had been, one of the vice chancellors was interested. He said, can you hand over these manuscripts and your whatever work that you have done, that was the transit thousands of pages, assiduously proofread everything. Can you hand over these things? And I asked our Guruji, should we hand over everything? Because we are receiving nothing in this thing. Even credit also we are not sure. Our Swamiji has just asked one question. Are, did you bring this to this world? Or are you taking out of it? Who are you to claim credit for this? Just leave it. So that vision, that philosophy, that is what Veda gives us, which is very important in our lives. I say, what is the ultimate contribution of the Vedas to the society is just this. Don't seek to claim credit for everything that you are associated with. Whatever you have achieved, never undermine the role of others who have associated, who have supported you, who have given you the vision. Without this, you would have been nothing. Therefore, seek to give credit to everything, everyone who is around you. That is the ultimate message. Why did you appreciate the services of a monk? Yesterday, Channajigara Swamiji was here. You have been receiving many other seers. What have you exactly done to you? They have actually, they did not benefit you in any manner. Physically you are what? With your own endeavors and with your own physical and mental stress and your hard work only has taken you to this level. But why are you honoring them? Just for one reason. Tyage naike amrutatva manashuhu. Just they are representative of the sacred principle of renunciation. By not claiming credit for what they stand for, they are the epitome of sacrifice. Since they are representing that factor of sacrifice, you are honoring all the monks. That is the reason why we are doing it, and why we are stipulated and ordered, commanded by our elders in various Dharma Shastras about it. What is the other message that we can get from Veda? There are three Shantis. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. This is very interesting. Apart from the Guru Sishya Parampara, because we are living in the society of knowledge, and the entire data sciences, the information technology, everything is rotating and revolving, circumambulating around the knowledge only. Whatever we say, it is not about the material wealth that we have in this country. It is about that knowledge that you have accumulated, the patent rights, and those hard-working principles, the data that you have accumulated, that is very important. That is the reason if you want to strangulate someone, you are just blocking the access to this knowledge. In these days, we are seeing the same thing. If you want to curtail a country from reaching the next level, including semiconductors, chip design, etc., you are just curtailing the knowledge. So that is how you should do. So therefore, we have started with the knowledge. The second one is Shanti. Shanti is to calm down. Calming what? There are 3 repetitions of this Shanti. You have all heard the word Tapatraya. Is it not? Tapatraya. What are these tapas? Tapa means the heat. Heat of what? Adhi Bhautika, Adhi Daivika, Adhyatmika. These are the 3 tapas, 3 heats. We have to cool them down for our betterment.
Could you repeat those 3?
Adhi Bhautika, Adhi Bhuta, Adhi Daiva, Adhyatma. Something that is related to Adhi Bhuta is Adhi Bhautika. There is a suffix called thai. With that Pratyaja we get Adhi Bhautika. I am not going to the grammatical aspect of it. Adhi Bhuta, Adhi Daiva, Adhyatma. Adhi Bhuta means one which is related to the Pancha Bhutas. Prithvi, the earth, Apaha, the water or the liquids, Tejaha, that is the energy source, including the fire, Vayuhu, the air, and Akasha, the ether. These are the Panchabhutas. The imbalance of these Panchabhutas is Adhibhuta. So one which is related to the Adhibhuta, one which is more to do with these bhutas, the Panchabhutas, the elementary 5 forces, that is called Adhibhautika Shanti. So we are seeking the Adhibhautika Shanti. Due to our misdeeds or adventures or misadventures, we are causing the imbalance of these things. So we want that to be dissipated. That is the first boon that we are seeking. That is one message from Vedas to the humanity. Don't enrage. Don't cause an imbalance. That is very important. Don't do indiscriminate drilling. Don't harm the nature. That is number 1. The second one is called Adi Daivika. Daivam literally means fortune. Again, what is causing these fortunes? Our own action. Sukritam va, dushkritam va. And in fact, there is a Shastra called Mimamsa. It is the Vedartha Vichara Shastra. Vedartha Vichara Shastra. It debates the purport of each Vedic sentence. In that school of thought, they have designated the giver of the books as someone who is duty bound. I will give you just one example of it. We all go to bank. There is a teller who is sitting there. He is giving you the money that you are seeking. He can't give anything extra than what you have accumulated in your balance. If you are a good friend of it, personally he might be giving you $10 extra, but nothing more than that. If you are inimical to him, if you don't like him, or if he doesn't like you, he cannot take out and subtract any balance from your account. Similarly, if your good deeds, if your sukrita, if it is on the positive side, he is bound to give you the benefits. Just for the reason that since you are adding extra prayers, he is not empowered He is not authorized to give you additional benefits. Let us remind to the sentence of Bhagavad Gita. Nadatte kaskachit papam na chaiva sukrutam vibhuhu. Since you have done Krishna Stotra today and Rama Stotra tomorrow and Shiva Stotra the next day and done Sankashta Chaturthi, you are not bound to get $1 million. Similarly, since you have not done all these things, you are just teaching in your school or you are operating in the hospital, that does not mean that your $1 million would vanish overnight. So your intention is very, very important. Therefore, the Adi Daivika means one which is governed by the fortune, which itself is an effect. Of course, it's also a cause, but it's an effect of your previous actions. That is Adi Daivika. But there is a catch here. Suppose you have these many negativities in your balance, why should it pounce upon you at this particular juncture? Can it be postponed? That is a question to be deliberated. So Shanti here means if there is an enormous amount of negativity, let that be dissipated to some extent. That is the prayer you are always entitled to make. That is Adi Daivika Shanti. The third one is Adhyatmika Shanti. Contrary to the popular perception of Adhyatmika, Adhyatmika in this context it is not spiritual. In this context, Atma stands for the body. Adhyatmika Shanti means bodily ailments and bodily discomforts. Let them be dissipated. Let them get reduced. That is the Adhyatmika Shanti. Therefore, what should you aspire for in your life? The second most important message is, apart from protecting the giver and taker, always prefer Adi Bhautika Shanti. Let the nature be in its balance and let your Sukruta be enhanced so that you don't have the negativity of your fortune. Because irrespective of the efforts we put up, sometimes we always end up as a failure. It is not just this thing, because in the Pavamana Homa which we are scheduled to perform on Saturday, there is a specific line. In spite of all your best efforts, if they are keeping on failing you, that means there is a negativity which is undercutting the edges. And there are too many holes in your vessel. If the vessel is not covered up, then all the water which is poured into that would be spilled away. So that is Adhyatmika Shanti. The third one is, of course, you need this body to do anything good or bad. Therefore, Adhyatmika Shanti. This is the third one which we should aspire for. These are the two prominent messages that we get from the Vedas, which are pertinent not to just one country, one nation, but to the entire humankind. It is very much relevant. I think we have exhausted our 30 minutes time. We have much more to say, but we will stop here.